Well, in this Moron Reviews, we're going to do the history of Britain and Ireland, the definitive visual guide. DK, as you can see. You can get these at Barnes & Nobles. I got mine at Books A Million. You can also get it at www.dk.com. It's a very, very good book. I'll show you some stuff. What I like about this book is that, like for example, you get this chapter on 100 Years' War. It goes here, then it ends on this page, and then the next page. Still, I'll tell you some more about the 100 Years' War, but, that portion ends and it starts a new section. I like that. Reading it and having to go to the next page and the next page, just read on the same chapter. It ends, and, it breaks up the topics very well. I love history almost as much as I love science. I have books on the Crusades, which is why I kind of laugh at people, that act like the Crusaders were so evil. They're not not totally good, but they were not as evil as, people make them out to be, because, hey, we want the Muslims just to slaughter. Did you actually read history, see what the Muslims were doing to people that they were slaughtering, invading? They weren't exactly friendly. Not like the Crusaders. At least the Crusaders allowed people to practice their religions, and they treated women a whole lot better. But we're not going to get into that. I already made a Moron review of my Crusaders books. And I got other history books and everything I like reading. Ancient history, all that stuff. I like these other things. I got Obama's books, Plato, and all that. I've already showed all those before in other videos. But this book is very good. Once Great Britain starts out as a colony, and then they start colonizing others. I kind of think that's kind of interesting. I'm going to say this, and please, if you're British, don't take this as an insult, because you can apply it to Americans now. But the British, not all of them, were basically freaking bastards in the 17th and 18th centuries. And early 19th centuries, colonizing, and they thought what they were doing was good, that they were helping, because bringing the Industrial Revolution to everywhere, railroads and all this stuff, modernizing the world, the white man's burden, as somebody said. You read in this book, they'll tell you who said it. It's a very good book. But they started oppressing people because they wanted to be in charge because they thought they were smarter and superior to everybody. And then, of course, when they're in these areas like Africa and India, and other Europeans start getting involved too. They want to take their resources. Some of the reasons why we have the troubles that we have today are because of what these people did in the past, and Americans too. Americans are not innocent. Let's face it, a lot of Americans, just like the British and French and a few others, Spanish, were freaking bastards in the past. The Koreans. Also, when they try to colonize, the Japanese, how many times have they tried to colonize China and Korea? It's not like Europeans are the only ones. It's just that they became the most powerful, and they did it worldwide. So it's kind of like when someone says, well, everybody else did it too. Yeah, they did, you're right, and they murdered and slaughtered and raped a lot of people, and enslaved a lot of people. They just did it on a larger scale because they had more power. They didn't exactly enslave a lot of people, though. But they could have been oppressive. Now, I do not believe that there's one person alive today responsible for anything done in the past. Nobody is. You can't change history. I'm not responsible. I'm part Iranian. I'm not responsible for anything that the Persians did, thousands of years ago. So if you're Greek, hey, I'm not responsible. And I don't hold Greeks or Jews or anybody else responsible for anything they did, or Americans when they overthrew Iran's democratic government in 1954 1954. Come on. This is a very good book. I enjoyed this book. You're going to learn a lot. I think British history is very interesting. And now, after reading this book, I really want to go to Great Britain, England, and all these other places, And it's just read what they did to the Irish. Not very pleasant either. No. It is the history is what it is, It's not like they're as enlightened as we are today about, how we treat people. And people are not any better today. Okay? People will always find a way to oppress someone who looks different than them or is different than them in some way. Okay? Doesn't matter white, black, whatever. No white person or black person or Asian person or anyone is responsible for what's done in the past. But this is definitely a good book worth reading. History of Britain and Ireland, the Definitive Visual Guide. DK, you should see this if you look it up on Amazon or whatever. It's pretty good. I just like history. I just need to find a good book on African history. I should have bought that book when I was at USF. I should have bought that book on African history. I should have taken that class. I did one on Middle Eastern history. I should have taken that one on African history. Bye.